Greetings and welcome to the Introduction to Astronomy. One of the things that I like to do in each of my introductory astronomy classes is to begin the class with the astronomy picture of the day from the NASA website, that is apod.nasa.gov/apod. And today's picture for September the 13th of 2020, well, it is titled M2-9, the wings of a butterfly nebula. So what do we see here? Well, this is what is known as the Butterfly Nebula, which is an example of a planetary nebula. And this is what happens when most stars die. So the vast majority of stars, eventually including our own sun, will compress their interior down to a white dwarf star, which is a star as massive as the sun, but compacted down to the size of the Earth. And essentially to do that, all you need to do is squeeze out all the space between the atoms, putting the electrons as close as they can physically get to one another. And that will then hold it up and support it against gravity. And that's what we call a white dwarf star that would be at the center of this image. So that's the compact core of the star. And while that compresses down, the outer layers will be expelled out into space. Now, in this case, we actually see that it's kind of expelling out in two different directions that are opposite to each other. And in some cases of planetary nebulae, we see different patterns. Well, this one is due to two stars actually orbiting, and that may be the reason that we're getting a different pattern. So when we see a lot of the different patterns among planetary nebulae, it can be due to the structures inside. What is going on? What kind of stars are there? How many stars are there? And what, if any, gas or dust is left behind? So different material like that could change the patterns that we see. And perhaps that is what makes this one, gives this one its butterfly shape. Now, this is, again, what will eventually happen to our own sun, and it will eventually exhaust its fuel. But we've got about 5 billion years before it will do that. The sun has enough hydrogen to burn for 10 billion years and provide the energy that it's providing right now. It's about 5 billion years old, so about 5 billion years from now, it will have exhausted that energy, and the core will begin to contract down, and it will eventually ignite helium. It'll find a new energy source in helium and convert that into carbon. And then the outer layers will begin to expand, and our sun will become a giant and later a supergiant star. And eventually we'll expel those outer layers out into space in a planetary nebula, as the core will continue eventually to collapse down and form the white dwarf that I talked about earlier. So that was our picture of the day for September the 13th of 2020. It was titled M2-9, Wings of a Butterfly Nebula. We'll be back again tomorrow for the next picture. So until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.